Now, do you know that over 65% of the Americans have no idea in terms of how much money they have spent in the last month? Over 50% of the Americans don't even have emergency fund actually saved up for just 3 months. If a developed country like America has this sort of an issue where people are not financially educated, can you even imagine a country like India where the economy is still growing, where people are still becoming educated? Reports actually show that in India, people don't even have enough money saved up. With the pandemic issue and now the geopolitical issue between Russia and Ukraine, countries across the globe are facing a high inflation rate. The inflation right now is at 7.5%. Also, during the pandemic, the unemployment rate was extremely high. People were losing their jobs. And we all know how tough the situation can be when such issues arises. So, going forward, we need to actually prepare ourselves. And how can we do that? By budgeting our finances better. We need to be much more organized so that in case such circumstances again comes up, we are much prepared. We are well prepared. Now, the biggest issue right now is when you go online, you have so many motivational videos, you have so many budgeting videos where you have all these fancy spreadsheets. The biggest problem is that we watch all these videos, but we actually don't follow any of them because it requires time, right? The more fancy it is, it looks very nice, but it's like how Ashni says on Shark Tank, ye sab doglapan hai. So this video, I'm going to explain to you in a very simple way how you can budget your finances, how you can track your money so that you are able to understand what are your priorities and how you can focus on those priorities. Now, a lot of people, they don't want to budget their finances at an early age because they want to spend more money. Now, just because you're budgeting doesn't mean that you're starving yourself. It does not mean that you are actually not having fun. Budgeting is just a lifestyle overall where you're organizing your finances. You have a complete track in terms of where your money is being spent, how much is being spent, and how much are you actually saving. It's just a lifestyle altogether. So it doesn't mean that you're starving. It is something which you need to start as early as possible. Now, before we even start, the very first thing which you need to understand is how much money you should have already saved up with your age. And this is a very simple threshold. This is a minimum threshold. If you have met this criteria, then well and good. If you haven't, then you already know that you need to save more amount of money. And the very first step is listing down all your income streams. Break down your income to understand how much money are you making every month. After that, break down your expenses to understand how much are you spending every month. Look at the last 3 months transactions. I personally use Burndown, which is an app. Now, this is again not a sponsored content, but I have personally been using it and it's a great app in my opinion. Also, we can look at multiple different other apps as well. But the intent is to understand how much are you spending every month. Now, once you have done that and you have a clear picture, step 2 would be building an emergency fund. Now, this is extremely important. Once you have a clear picture in terms of how much are you spending, multiply that amount into 6 months and that is your emergency fund. And this is a fund which you need to keep, and you should not be investing this fund in your equity or crypto, but keep it in your bank or fixed deposit or anywhere where the fund can be easily accessible. Because tomorrow, in case you lose your job or in case some pandemic happens or in case some other issue happens, you have a certain amount of money. Data even shows that 56% of the Americans don't even have $1,000 of emergency expenses which they can cover up. 1 in 4 Americans don't even have emergency fund. So you can even imagine how bad the situation is. Now, the step 3 is understanding the rule of 72. It takes you 4 years minimum at least to double your money. And every 4 years, you are able to double your money. So the earlier you start, the better your results will be. So at a younger age, you should be saving minimum of 30% of your entire income. This is after tax. The remaining 70% is what you will be spending towards your basic necessities like your rent, electricity bill, your fund, etc. But 30% of your income needs to be saved every month. Now, step 4 would be what to do with this 30% of your amount. This 30% of your amount should be invested. And how will you be investing or how will you be diversifying it? You can simply follow the 100 minus age rule, where it actually shows you how much you should be investing in your riskier assets and how much you should be investing into safer assets. And that is divided as per age. So you can start following that. But make sure that you are saving at least 30% of your investment every month. And step 5 would be to create a very simple tracker to track all your investments. Now, because you are investing at different places, you need to have a very clear idea in terms of where are you investing, how much are you investing, and are these investments growing on a monthly basis. So create a very simple tracker, and that is all that you need. You also have the 50-30-20 rule, which is a very common or which is a very well-known budgeting principle. But this is something which I completely disagree with. The 50-30-20 rule means that 50% of the money goes towards your needs, 30% goes towards your wants, and 20% is what you save up. Now, if you're someone who is just starting to budget your finances, this can be useful. But what you also need to understand is that in this case, you are spending a huge amount of money. For example, next year, if your salary increases, ideally, your lifestyle should not be increasing. If you're still spending 50% on your needs and 30% on your wants, that means you're having a lifestyle inflation. With increase in salary, your savings percentage should be increasing. And that being the reason, I have already suggested you that you start saving at least 30% from the very start. So in summary, budgeting is a very simple principle where you're keeping a track of your finances. A very important rule when it comes to budgeting is to pay yourself first. If you're able to pay yourself, which means that the minute you get your income, if you're able to transfer that 30% into, let's say, separate bank account, then you're just left with the 70%. And that is the very first step of budgeting your money. So always pay yourself first and make sure that this comes as a part of your lifestyle. So I hope you have actually found this video useful. I hope you have understood how to budget your money, how to track your finances. If you did, do like this video, do subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.